to Bitcoin Podcast. The only one that's making your money is you. Listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. So hold on and listen to the Bitcoin Podcast.
Are you working in a job that sucks balls? Does your job suck and ergo your life? Do you want to change that because your life is sucking? Join the TBP Slack. Get a better job.
I was like the only correspondent that they had in Los Angeles. So they had me get a camera, started to shoot it, started to learn it, and then kind of just fell in love with taking photos of palm trees. And fast forward, 6 years, I've just fell in love with palm trees and have an infatuation with like the sense of hope and tranquility that they provide. And they basically became like the main character to, my art. So that's who I am and what I'm about in a very simple way. But yeah, nice to meet you guys.
He's also an insanely humble guy, so I'll brag on his behalf. He just wrapped up.
We're not recording yet. Do you want to say some of this for the recording?
Yeah, we definitely can. Yeah.
My bad. I thought this was live. I didn't even know.
We don't know. I guess it is live. It's live now. But
we started, Corey.
We should do. I've seen that. I didn't see how it started. Look at that. We no intro or nothing. Look at us go.
Look at us. We just roll into
it. you want to run it back?
No, we can fuck it. Let's go. So, hey, you guys know how we do?
Yeah,
we did it.
Okay, how's it going?
Another Bitcoin podcast interview. Today we're joined on 721 Collective. Represented here by Aram Barnett and Nichols. You heard a little bit about Will there. Infatuated with palm trees. That's hyper focused, man. I love it.
He's not lying. I'm looking through the Instagram right now, and there's a lot of palm trees.
All palm trees.
Yeah.
If somebody shows you a Christmas tree, you're like, get that shit out of my face. Listen to me. I do palm trees. No.
Real though.
Thank you for the introduction, Will. Aram,
yeah.
I'll let you, introduce yourself. The last time you came on our show, though, Aram, we recorded via Skype. That's how long ago
was it?
It was. Yes, it was. We were in Skype back then.
It was the old days.
Yep. But anyways.
I think I was like 19 at the time. I've grown, not vertically, but I've gotten a lot bigger since we've last talked. Maybe a little bit smarter, depending on who you asked. In regards to like who I am, goodness, I've been around the crypto space for years now. I think I'm best known for, we talked about this. We were building CoinScore, which did like ratings assessments and due diligences for crypto tokens. Also worked on Crypto Pets, which was an NFT video game. Entrepreneur in residence at Human Ventures, and then leading their blockchain wing over at Onward Labs, their chief innovation officer. Took a break from the crypto industry to work on video game stuff over at Powerboard. And now I'm just back in it with a vengeance, working with my amazing partner, Nam, to launch something called the 721 Collective, which we're helping, established artists like Will and brands go and create meaningful NFTs. So that's who I am.
Okay.
Can you describe meaningful NFTs to me?
Yeah, something that's not just a JPEG, that somebody just didn't take a picture, like somebody like eating like a fruit and just throwing it up on like Rarible. What we wanted to do, and Nam, who has like a really deep background, runs a company called Pollinate, which is empowering a lot of our tech and development, and it's an art curation platform. We realized that there's so much hype and like nonsense around NFTs right now that there's not really good curation. Or real utility. And so what we mean by meaningful NFT is something that is as technologically forward facing as like crypto is and as blockchain is, with cultural significance, right? We want to create pieces of art and work that will be able to be like, known, that's recognizable, right? We're at the early phases of NFTs, and we want to create something that has like impact. And so, we're doing like exhibits. We're being able to take the URL into IRL, and then vice versa to go and build these big assets for the metaverse.
I like it. Take the URL into IRL. I haven't heard that before. That's a nice phrase, though. I might have to. You mind if I snag that from you, Aram?
Yeah, go for it. I think it's Will created it, especially with with his vision and what he wants to do. And that's I really wanted to, of course, to talk a lot about like what we've been working on. But just for background, Nam and I came together to start 721 Collective. And we've been talking with some pretty high profile brands and established artists like Will himself, to go and create something that I think is going to be really impactful with this first release. And so, Will, if you just want to talk about it, what we're doing, and I can just chime in if there's any like deep technical things that you want me to go over.
Yeah, no doubt. I've always had an ambition to palm trees in New York, and it's just kind of like the logistics of doing that is just kind of difficult. Like it's an art exhibition that I'm going to do eventually, like physical palm trees, but now with the technology and being able to bridge the gap between IRL and URL, this is a more feasible way of me being able to provide, New York City with the symbol of hope and tranquility in the form of palm trees, augmented palm trees. So I'm going to be able to, kind of use this lifelong art exhibition of releasing palm trees and placing them in places that, have influenced me throughout my life and throughout my creative journey. And the first chapter is going to be palm trees in New York. So I've selected 5 places in New York City where I will be placing these specific palm trees. One is in Harlem. One is at the Wall Street Bull. Fun fact, when I used to work at High Snobiety, I also moved across the country to work for an agency that was it was working with Adidas. So basically, I got hit up on a Monday, and they were like, "Yo, we need to know by Friday if you're going to take this job and move across the country from LA to New York." And I flipped the coin and I did it, and it ended up being really funny because at that point I had 2 jobs, and both of the jobs ended up being in front of the Charging Bull on 26 Broadway in the same building. And I didn't know where they were actually located. So just like the essence of that place. And then Wall Street just kind of being like, I guess in like the traditional world, more like the mecca of finance and like the symbol of hustle, grit, and just kind of what New York embodies, just like the balance between hustle and flow, work and play, and just getting after and chasing your dreams. The other location is Pianos in Lower East Side. It's like a place that, I don't know, to me, New York, it really inspires me by like the people, not visually, but necessarily like the people, the energy, the random encounters, because you're walking so much. Living in LA, you live in such a bubble. You're in your car, you're listening to your music. Like if you're not planning to meet somebody or run into a friend or just have a chance encounter, like chance encounters are far and few in between in New York. I mean, in LA. So like I'm inspired by the people. So I wanted to select a place called Pianos, which is like a place where my friends and I frequent to just, kind of let loose and have fun. And I've had a lot of memories there, and a lot of great stories that came out of there from my personal life that, kind of just influenced me. Then another location is in Brooklyn, which is at the ferry, the North Williamsburg Ferry. And why I chose the North Williamsburg Ferry is just to like kind of like have people stop and kind of admire the perspective of the city and like what it symbolizes. Like so much work and so much amazing architecture has just been put into the city. And sometimes like when you're walking through the city, like days can go by without actually seeing and viewing the perspective, because you're such like you're in like the grid, you're in like the cage of the city itself, and days can go by without even seeing the skyline really. And that's something that like really like killed my motivation and my inspiration when I was living in New York, and like was a big reason as to why I moved back. I actually like Googled one day, like where is the closest place natural, like that had natural palm trees, and I just jetted out to Bermuda just because like I had to literally see palm trees and see sky, because I felt so enclosed. And then another place that I selected for the 5th and last palm tree is Joe's Pizza on Bedford, just because it's like the quintessential snack. Like it's like the people's food, and it's so good. And I literally, I went like 2 weeks having it every single night, just like because I was craving it, and I still love it. I'll never get over it.
I got a question for you. Like, why palm trees? Like, why? I want to hear why you love palm trees. I do.
They really do give me like a sense of solace, man. And like how I got into photography was more like, I use art as an outlet for therapy. Like if I'm too frustrated, if I'm too, if I'm too emotional or anything, like I always try to find I can have like a good balance of things, right? So like I found myself just being naturally connected to them and finding myself like taking like long walks and like literally just finding palm trees and like almost viewing each one as different characters and like they have different emotions because a lot of palm trees are shaped differently and that like really I was really drawn to that subject matter and just like what they symbolize in like energy. Like they're like if you see palm trees, I personally am instantly more like calm and cool and collected and just like kind of like tranquil. And I've just been drawn to that ever since I had a camera and it kind of opened my eyes to like honestly like a lifestyle. I can't really explain it beyond that really.
Okay.
I had to look at a palm tree. I had to see if it
I was
evoked
looking at your
this thing.
Instagram.
You're ridiculous. Huh?
Can you
Yeah.
describe when Aram contacted you and how he convinced you to start looking into NFTs as an artist and what that experience was like? Because I know Aram, and I'm just curious, like, how did that interaction happen, and how did he like convince you that moving in this direction of like embracing this kind of a digital ownership through NFTs was something you wanted to do?
Yeah, honestly, there really didn't need to be much convincing. I was already aware to NFTs. I'm not like super versed into blockchain or anything, but I do have like some friends that have like showed me around the ropes and like I invested in a little bit into like the bull cycle in 2017. So I kind of like had somewhat of a background. So now having like a new use case that like directly applied to me and like something that I was like genuinely interested in, it just made sense. And like I'm always looking for new ways to express my artistic creativity and outlet, so I'm always searching for new mediums. Like I have a furniture brand that I'm releasing soon. I paint, I do photography, like I dabble in a bunch of different things, so it's just in my nature to like want to be on the latest and greatest. And I think what blockchain provides and the ownership and the longevity and everything is just extremely important, and I'm never been more excited about the future. So being able to partner with 721 and Aram and Nam and everybody has been really cool, because I feel like we're building something special and sustainable. Like this is just chapter one, and I'm gonna be my goal is to continue to travel throughout like the world and go to new places, visit some of my favorite places, and just plant these palm trees everywhere.
So are you like planting like a QR code that like when you scan it, like it represent, or like it like an AR, like a link to like an AR version of the palm tree pops up, or like how are you planting the palm trees?
Yeah, so I can tackle that question, how we're going about that. So our the palm trees in New York exhibit is actually done through the browser, and so we're doing mobile AR and we're doing
Okay.
GPS location. And one of the things that we find incredibly exciting about this project is that if you go, we're doing a live auction in Miami June 3rd, at the start of blockchain week. And then, after these auctions go up, we take the assets and we're transporting them to New York City, where they'll be available for like an IRL exhibit around the locations, Will was saying. And so anybody will be able to go, into our web app that we've built, go and tap on the palm trees, figure out where they are from GPS. And then we've planted the trees at a certain, latitude and longitude. And why we think that's so exciting is that if you go and purchase one of these trees, you, after the exhibit's run, you have the ability to go and place the palm tree anywhere in the world, which we find is really, really compelling for a buyer. And, being able to go and have an AR exhibit is one thing, but going back to the original point of having like this cultural moment, we're putting it in New York because of Will's story. Very high traffic, it's the summers there, and you'll be able to go out, experience, the way Will experienced New York, and go and take pictures in front of these palm trees. And then hopefully, they might pop up somewhere else. Who knows? They'll be in like Abu Dhabi, or they might be in Antarctica. It's solely up to the owner's discretion at that point.
That's kind of dope. Not gonna lie. You mind if we take a look at some of your art? I'm gonna put some. Are you cool with that, Will?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna put your Instagram up here. You don't have any.
Yeah, no. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Nothing. All right. Let's see. Hold up. What is it? F11, Corey? I got it. Yeah, I got it. All right, there we go.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Look at that. I mean, palm trees are kind of soothing. I see it.
Kind of soothing. It's like the symbol of soothe.
I can see it.
Yeah, they're nice.
I just love that you're just like, you know what? Palm trees.
I like the butt chair.
They're the shit.
Yeah, that chair is crazy.
Are palm trees coconut trees?
That's a collector who bought some of my pieces from a show I had with my art gallery from Europe called Plan X. The show was titled Lost in Paradise, and it had 4 different pieces in a painting. And he grabbed those pieces, and he's a really dope Porsche collector. He collects a bunch of vintage Porsches. He's a dope collector from Ireland, or excuse me, from Europe.
Oh, this is cool. I first looked at this and I was like, man, that horse is struggling because mama is thick with 3 C's. But then I looked at the horse and I was like, damn, horse is thick with 3 C's too. So it's all
swole
good.
Swole body.
Man, this is good stuff. All right. We'll take that back now.
All right, so back to the viewing. So you've made an AR play, which is something I think is interesting. Because more often than not, you're seeing people buy NFTs and then they have them and they have nothing to do with them. And maybe there's a play to have virtual reality spaces in which you can present your NFTs. If you have it's like thinking about some of the earlier plays like Decentraland, where you're buying land and then placing NFTs in there. So when you have virtual conferences or what have you, you can store it with unique items. But AR takes it into a step that I think is more approachable to people, at least in the short term, and that is allowing them to view and potentially interact with unique pieces of digital items that are placed inside there every day, right? But it also forces them, at least in the beginning, to use your app to interact with these things. So how do you get people there?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so we just from years of experience being in the space, user experience is like the golden nugget in order to get adoption. And so when it came to actually dealing with the development side of things, we made a lot of strides in being able to put this on the browser. So there is no app. As long as you have a smartphone with a camera on it and a decent cell phone connection, you'll be able to go and view these assets, granted that you're in the actual location itself. So that was one barrier to entry that we just really dropped off. I thought was incredibly important, where, if you wanted to, we could do a mobile application, like an iOS app or an Android application, but that lowers the barrier of entry, or increases the barrier of entry, for people. And, you don't want to do that. We want to create this cultural experience. Everyone's able to view art, right? There's 10 billion cell phones on the planet. Being able to go and do it through an Opera browser or, Chrome browser, Safari, we thought it was the most equitable thing for people to do to actually go and experience Will's pieces. And so, to the AR play, I can look at a Beeble piece, right? I can look at a fuck render piece right now, but I can't really interact with it. And there's no real flexing, right? Being able to say I have the Beeble piece is cool, or being able to go to the Louvre and take a picture in front of the Mona Lisa, right? That's something cool. And one of the things that we also took into consideration for this user experience is, making it cool, making it fun, being able to have some sort of social cloud attached to it. And so when people go and take a picture with these trees, we want people, experience this NFT. We want people to be able to take a picture, right next to the tree, maybe try to lean on it or something like that, doing whatever, they want around it. And being this, this cultural marker, which, we really wanted to hit on. And so we found that incredibly important to be able to do that across all platforms, and to be able to go and experience and interact with this piece firsthand.
I definitely like taking a picture with. I can imagine conferences being just lit up with all kinds of NFTs that people basically discovering through looking through their application or their mobile device, and all kinds of shenanigans happening from there. Or be collectors basically bringing all their stuff together, putting it in their corner and selling their wares.
Yeah, it's there's been some early applications around this. There's one company called Vatoms or Atomic that like took like the Apple map and then put AR assets on top of that. That was an AR kit just got released by Apple. But it, it failed to take off. It was also a crypto play as well, where you would spin Vatums to go and place these assets on the world. And AR, that was like 2018, right? And AR isn't nearly as good as where it is now. And it's still hard to convince people to download an application, but I think in order to get mass adoption, and the hurdle is just switching people from website to app long term, and it's also a development cycle thing, is being able to make it as easy and as accessible as possible. And I think doing it right is like having a website to do it first with Will, and then just expand to having more AR assets on it. You build your own collection, and making it really easy for people to go and connect like a Web3 wallet, right? Like it's still hard to do like connect a Web3 wallet in like the clear web right now without having like a MetaMask plugin, and that's not available on mobile. So there's still a long ways to go.
We got that covered.
In order to get that. Oh, you got that? Oh, you got that covered. Oh,
Soon.
excuse me. Well,
Don't worry about it.
let's interview you about that.
It's not hard to get me. I think I've downloaded 137 apps
Dude, oh my god, you have got to
since
see
2008.
It's just page after page after page.
That's not true, bro. I organize them. I
so
put them in
bad.
the little bubbles, and they've each got their own little bubble. And then the ones that I don't like anymore, I just send them away. But every once in a while, I don't. I go back to the app store, and I'm like, I send it. What's going on with that app? And I hit the little cloud button. I download it again, and then I delete it again. It's a problem, but you don't have any problems getting me to download an app. I gotta ask you, like, so do you create these palm trees like this is for Will? Do you create these palm trees like, are they original, or like do you things like I go like down the street, I know Ice Cube lives on, and I find a palm tree and I recreate it, and then sell to be like, this is Ice Cube's front yard palm tree. You can have it. I don't know. I'm just trying to see.
Yeah. No, for the digital asset itself for this drop, is that?
Yeah, for the ones that you've done already.
Okay, cool. So basically I created a 3D model in Blender with my friend, my partner, and then I designed these unique skins that are overlaid onto the palm trees. And that's going to be, each skin is going to be unique, like a 1 of 1 at each of the 5 locations. But as each chapter evolves, I want to be able to change the different palm trees too, so they can be correlated to each chapter.
I think we can share some of the palm trees if you guys want to check them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Let me,
100%.
If you got a share screen you want to throw in here. Oh wait, no, that's probably. I don't think guests can do that.
Yeah, they can share the screen.
They can? Okay.
All right, here. I will do just that and just pulling them up.
Will, you're really good at taking photos.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, I felt something when I saw the palm trees on the Instagram pictures that were pulled up.
I don't know which post this is, but I think you captioned it. Y'all must be tired to see me post trees for 5+ years straight. And then the very first comment is never.
Yeah, man. No, I was going every day, boom, boom, every day. Like, I don't get tired of it. I'm never gonna get tired of it. It just is who I am,
That's the one thing I love about the internet is like, you think what you like is obscure, and there's thousands of people that also like it. So it's like, you might as well just nerd out on what you like to nerd out on, and you got company. You definitely. Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's one of those banger NFTs right there. My man's slang some ETH for that one.
Yes.
Oh, you can see them. All right, great. I mean, like Slack doesn't do 3D assets, so we're just showing the stills. So this is the first one. This is a second.
Yeah, if you go back to the first one, there's it was really funny. Like, I was in the kitchen and I was like cooking with my girlfriend, and the way she had foil out because she was baking, and the way that the light was hitting the foil was so radiant and abstract, it was crazy. So I took like a sharp lens, and I took a photo, and then I started taking it into Photoshop and add like graphic overlays and just kind of tweak it out. But I find like I'm having fun finding like moments where I'm find like these random abstract things out of certain moments, and then turn that into like the skins for the palm trees. I think it's like going to be like the next focus of my photography potentially. I'm really enjoying finding like these abstract just moments.
I have a question, Will. Are you like from your photos, like they're almost like silhouettes, like you control light in the shots really well. Are you like I don't see light being controlled here in like the AR aspect of visualizing the palm trees.
Yeah, no, this is definitely something where I was more design heavy. Like I'm on
Okay.
my iPad, I'm just like messing around with, the different colors. Like for me, this is more of a color play. I love colors as much as I love palm trees and being able to put palettes next to each other. This one was inspired off of the Biggie Coochie sweater, and I took like the same kind of color palette and kind of tweaked it around.
Oh,
This one is supposed to be a little bit like resemble like checkers, and just like, I don't know, the balance between, I feel like in New York, like everyone wears black, everything is kind of a darker thing. And like I like the balance between light and dark. So I took it one step further and added color, and now it's more like a gradient, like almost like a sunsetty kind of gradient, checkered palm tree. So that's kind of like the inspo behind this one. And this one is actually a plant that I took a photo of when I was walking, like a really, really close up tight shot. And I just started to tweak with the colors and try to make it a little bit more abstract. But I really like just the palette of this one.
I like those colors.
And I'm looking, I think the last one, and this is what the top one is, the fifth one we're still actively rendering right now. This is what one of the top of the models looks like. And all of them will be dynamically adjustable and, in 3D for people to be able to go and see and check them out, what the trees have to offer.
that's
That's
dope.
awesome. Where do these live? How do you guarantee that the NFT doesn't ever change and the person who owns it can't get the rug pulled out from under them?
So that's on like the exchange side of things. Basically, the assets are going to be living on IPFS, and so that's where the asset itself is in regards to like the rug pulling, where it's like, oh, somebody like hacks the account and like, hey, it's in New York now, but the art heist, right, would be like, hey, let's move it to like somewhere in Sri Lanka, right, where it's like I no longer control my tree; it was stolen, which is quite an interesting thing that could happen with these assets. How we solve that, and we're still actively going through the technical solutions around this. Basically, it's you're going to log into palm trees in New York on your desktop, and then whatever wallet you purchase the asset with. So let's just say it's MetaMask. You log in with MetaMask, and if the asset is inside of that wallet, and we see that it's there, you get a little display screen that says like, "Hey, here's your asset," so on and so forth. Would you like to go and change the location? Which location isn't on chain at all? And the metadata, which like some metadata is on chain, some of it's off chain. The metadata we're referring to is like if you want to be known, right? You have a large AR asset in the middle of New York City. Somebody wants to say like, hey, I have like the pieces of me, like or the largest palm tree in New York City, or like I own like the one of five, and I want my name or my organization plastered on this, right? And so you have the ability to go and change that information. And so you're not going to get like the rug pulled underneath you. These assets are hosted in a decentralized manner. So they'll still continue to exist. However, for the sake of usability, the GPS coordinates are off chain. And then of course users have the ability to just remove it altogether or like take it off the application. Let's say if I want to buy one of these palm trees and I move it, it's pretty poor OPSEC. If I buy a palm tree and put it at my house and I can see like, 0x whatever has like 1 million ETH. Here's the GPS coordinates down to the centimeter. Yo, let's go to this guy's house. Forget taking pictures. Like, you got a Ferrari. So yeah, there's like little things that we think of, right? And it's totally up to like the owner's discretion on what they want to do and give them the ability to go and control that and put it. They also have the ability to just leave it in New York. Is something that, one, not only ensures that you don't get the rug pulled on you, but also gives people the ability to, like kind of show it off, move it around. I think it's a cool thing where it's like, let's say you're like in a club or something and you want to flex or whatever, be like, yo, I'm going to put my palm tree outside of, the 4040 club in New York. It's like, yeah, that's where I'm here. Like, what's good? So it's like, it's cool stuff like that. And, really going back to the experience level, We're trying to figure out how we like collect information about whoever's viewing these palm trees in a secure way. Like, so being able to collect your email and being like, hey, the palm trees are on the move, right? Or if we want to do something like fun, like, hey, here's like, a drop or a giveaway, or here's a pop-up palm tree, right? Being able to constantly have these cultural moments happen is something really exciting. And those functionalities aren't currently built into like the current NFT markets. And so when we were working with Will to go and craft this vision, it was really, a holistic experience of like, what is it going to look like to really start to experience an NFT? And, thinking like down the line, right? It's a 3D model. You don't even have to flex IRL. You could go and put this in Decentraland or somewhere in the metaverse, right? Or, have it parody in 2 places. And I think that's what's incredibly powerful and like what the next level of NFTs are. And we really want to get past like the JPEG, right? There's so many other things that can happen with these assets and like have serious cultural significance. And I think, to Will's credit and his vision around this, right? It's all him, right? Just being able to be like the tech partner to go and make this vision happen, right? I think it represents a paradigm shift on not only how we, view value, but also, how we interact with NFTs. I want to flex in front of a palm tree that I own. Like, why not? It's cool.
No, I'm gonna be hyped to have some palm trees in like the metaverse and like the different worlds, because I think it's cool to be able to like have your piece in Decentraland. There's other metaverses popping up. Like there's one that popped up that was really cool. I think palm trees is going to be really displayed nicely in his Wilder world. In Wild, like their metaverse is very like photorealistic, so I think there could be some potential there. I'm excited to be able to have them, kind of bridge the gap, like that with IRL and URL. I feel like as time moves forward, like the blending between, IRL and URL just gets closer and closer and closer and more blended together.
Oh yeah. Would you be for or against making 3 TBP palm trees? One for Jessie, one for me, and one for Corey, and just like look at our aura. You know what I mean? And then just
make a palm tree.
Make a palm tree for each of us, and then it could add to your collection of palm trees. People could buy the D palm tree. Put it anywhere.
No, that would be really cool. No, for sure.
Just sleep on that.
I'm not opposed, man. I'm not opposed. I am going to start pumping out some palm trees, and I also want to work in collaboration and do one-offs with people too, not just like these chapters. Like I want to in V2 V3 I want to like integrate music in unique music, and like kind of have like continue to grow the vision and the moment for each palm tree.
I was just about to ask, where's the music, or will you have music?
That would go well with
the palm trees.
For sure. No, yeah, I have the full play in motion. I just gotta let that time pass.
I can imagine having like a virtual camera for our podcasts, and that basically uses the app as my virtual camera. That basically shows my background with whatever NFTs I currently have.
That'd be sick.
It's a technically easy thing to do by creating a virtual camera that shows like y'all's portal into this world to be broadcast. Basically, whatever we do, like anyone does podcasts or
that would actually be pretty cool.
Things like that.
No, yeah, that sounds crazy.
What I would like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. Go for it.
I was just gonna ask Aram. Like, let's go into a little bit more detail about what 721 Collective is. Right. And from my perspective, we talked about it just a little bit, like we ricocheted off of it, is like you are an agent or manage artists looking to release NFTs, or is it more than that? Am I missing the boat?
We like to think of ourselves as co-conspirators in creating dope pieces, right? I think that's the best way that sums us up. I guess, how we would think about ourselves. We go and work with artists and brands to go and create these high impact NFTs, right? For people to, go and experience and take it just a step beyond just a quick money grab, right? We're really trying to create something that's going to last as long as like the blockchain is around, right? Something incredibly important to us, right? Like my partner, Nam runs a company called Pollinate, which is a art curation platform. We actually both worked at Human Ventures on a company called Vanimals. And so Ferg, I was telling you about like these eggs and stuff, which there's a plan for those. But we came together and realized, there's a lack of curation in the space, and, there's still a lot of misinformation and just knowledge gaps, right? Just for everybody into the space, and being able to be like the guide on for these people to go and work with them and create something is something incredibly rewarding for us. And, you know, just great for the entire space as a whole. So if you can think of the 721 as, I think it would be appropriate to call us an agency, minus the, you know, the stigmatisms around dealing with an agent, right? We try to be incredibly equitable with the people who we work with, and try to bring the wildest visions we can to life. And so that, you know, that's who we are. I think, you know, what we look at for the future, there's really going to be this blending of IRL and URL, right? You know, AR glasses are going to be coming out. You know, your phone's powerful enough to go and deal with stuff. Video games are becoming incredibly high fidelity, and being able to go and have assets that you're able to go and port around that are, you know, be able to hold like not only value but significance, and, you know, that they're famous, right? Nobody is really locking that down. I think we've seen like a little sprinkling of it, but I think of it right now, the NFT space is kind of akin to the crypto market in 2017, right? There's a bunch of like frothy stuff, right? Most of the stuff isn't going to be worth anything, but there's going to be very, very few projects and companies, especially NFTs, right, that are going to be incredibly valuable. And we are going to be one of those incredibly valuable like companies who are building these assets that are going to be, you know, have longevity. And so that's who we are, and that's what we're thinking of, and that's where we think of the future and how we're positioning ourselves.
I like it. I like it because just I think it was 2 weeks ago I was talking to someone about NFTs, and like you said in this interview twice now, it's like beyond the JPEG, or it's not just a JPEG. And I was like, I feel like NFTs can do a lot more. I feel like this whole making a smiley face and painting it orange and yellow and selling it for 5 ETH is just a little bit irrational, and we're really not exploring, you know, what NFTs can do, or just what they can represent. So I like that you seem like you're like trying to dig into like, can we do more, and how do we do more? So that's pretty dope.
Yeah. And, you know, I think another thing, it's like, you know, I think we're in a very unique position, especially my partner and I, that we have the experience, you know, Crypto Pets 2017, 2018, NFTs, Vanimals 2018, 19. And now with the rise of all of this stuff, it's like we're like in a really good spot to deliver on something amazing. Like, no offense to, you know, anybody who's starting an NFT project right now, but there's, you know, it's a steep learning curve, right? And there's so many more unique things. Like I just put out an article around how what I'm calling and coining it right now, BTC podcast, right? So world exclusive, NFT 2.0, right? And so what that is, it's combining an NFT with dynamic data sets, right? Which is incredibly powerful. I'm sure I'm going to butcher the protocol, but there's like an ERC 1155 a token standard, which effectively it's a token that you're able to go and mint, hold, and transfer ERC 20 and ERC 721 tokens. And that came out like a couple of years ago. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is really, really cool. But didn't really do much with it. Now with the, you know, rise of stuff like a chain link, right? I think that contract or some form or deviation of it is going to underpin what a real identity looks like. Corey, you can talk to a lot more about identity, but I think when it comes like into like the metaverse, being able to go and have little tokens that represent, you know, either data streams or being able to like be a piece of an asset, right, is going to be incredibly powerful. You know, I think a great example is, you know, I play a lot of video games, right? And I think NFTs, gamers as NFTs might be a revenue generating asset. If I'm able to go buy like a Shroud or a Ninja, and go effectively use that underlying data that's dynamic, pulling from, let's say, like Activision's API, and go put them in like, let's say, like a tournament. And because I own that asset, if they're playing and they're winning and there's an economic incentive, me as the owner of that underlying asset can get an economic reward for that, right? Fantasy meets like real life, right? Horse racing is another cool thing. It's incredibly powerful what's going to happen with NFTs in the next 5-10 years. And a lot of the projects that are mainstream right now are really scratching the surface, because it's like, hey, I'm famous, I like money, or ETH is ripping right now, and we're here for like a cash grab, right? You're not here for the long term, right? That's not bedrock stuff. And we really want to build the infrastructure and work with phenomenal artists like Will, different brands come up with our own stuff that really sets the ground for like the next 5-10 years. And we are, you know, like I said, you know, we're hell bent on, you know, creating the metaverse and creating these, you know, cultural shaping assets.
I could see a lot of
I
depth
love
there, especially in terms of how these things can change. I'm not sure if they're going to be called NFTs throughout the existence of whatever this thing is, but understanding how you have ownership of a given item and how that item changes and how it's expected to change, and being able to transfer that and have economics pinned to that ownership, and also being able to play with how that economics works. So like how money flows from that thing into the person or people that hold it, and then like the market around how valuable that is. You just talked about data sources, is going to get real interesting, to say the least, right?
Oh yeah.
And NFTs are this like gamified way, at least in its current existence, this gamified way of playing around with that type of thing, because everyone intuitively understands the concept of like, there's this thing that's digital and now I can own it. And when I transfer it, I can make this intuitive leap of what happens physically when I do that. And then that then bleeds into kind of ideas like you're talking about on what other types of stuff can I do with data ownership and the people who want access to it, or like how to flex with that data ownership, things like that. So like, yeah, it's good that people are exploring and trying these things and kind of, like you said, attempting to provide that infrastructure that allows people to kind of try and figure out how we make this stuff way better for like all the other stuff that we're trying to do. Because it's hard to explain in real words, but like having art and ownership of it gives people this intuition of like, I get that, I can get behind that.
I got a question, which I'm like 98% sure is yes. You can put things like, this is probably definitely not the right phrasing. You can put things into an NFT, right? Well, what I mean by that is this: like, can I sign? If I get your palm tree, can I like sign it? That like I've owned this now. I signed it. It's me.
So yes, you can. How you go about that signing, right? It's so for our palm trees, you can't really. Yes, you. I'm gonna say yes, right? How I thought about signing it is like there's a couple of ways. Like if like it's yours, right? You know, if it inhabits the same wallet as like your ENS address, right? Then it's like, yeah, you could like sign it that way, right? That's how we're kind of notarizing like the pieces. When the palm trees go up, you know, Will's ENS name is there, so we know it's like from the authenticated source. When it comes to like pushing like data back through the NFT, you can. One, I think it's going to be really expensive, and it's like, what data do you want to push, right? If there's like a parameter in the contract that says like, hey, like name, right, and like we can call like an update function, we can. And then like switch that on chain, and then like it pops up. My biggest concern is we try to keep it as simple as possible, because you know what happens if there's like some weird like bug, and I don't know, changing the name somehow allows you to like mint multiple palm trees or something weird, or transfer the ownership. We haven't tried that stuff yet out. And so I would say yes, but for the sake of, you know, this exhibit and for this asset right now, the majority of like the changing stuff is going to be off chain.
Cool. I only ask because there's like, you know, there's notable places on the planet like that place people go and they put all their gum there. I don't know where it is, but it's like somewhere in Europe. And then there's a place people go.
Seattle too.
Yeah, you know, like things like that. If you create that kind of NFT where people can like have it and then they sign it, and then when they transfer, there's like the little fragment of them that they left there. But that's why.
I'm sure that there is. I haven't taken much time to think through that. But now I have like this idea where it's like, you remember like on Reddit and people were spelling like there's a web page with like 1 million pixels on it, and one pixel was $1. Like someone's like 1 pixel, 1 ETH. But like being able to go and do that, I think that would be incredibly exciting. And if that lives as a smart contract, then it's like, all right, cool. It would be like a leaderboard style, you know, like what's it called, leaderboard style array, and then like you would just adjust stuff. So like there's some really interesting things that you probably could do it. I'll get back to you on that, and maybe we launch one. All right, you want to put some gum somewhere in the world? We'll make it happen.
I do. I want to put my gums on. No, I'm playing. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm good.
Let's wrap.
I got a question real quick.
I did think of
Jesse's
one.
got a question.
I did. Jesse, I'm gonna go before you though.
Go for
because
it. Go for it.
I want to. No, I'm kidding. Go for it, man.
No, you go.
Don't make it awkward, Jesse. Just
All right. Can you guys see the private chat? Will, you?
Yes.
Your microphone is muted, Will.
Yeah. 1 second. I just clicked the link. Let me see.
All right.
The gum wall. Yeah, that's super sick.
No. So I'm gonna link this.
Okay.
See that? You see that Discord app.net link?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make
Look
you
at a donut.
feel anyway? Yeah.
Does
What
this
do you think
make me
about that
feel
donut?
Let me see. Yeah. Okay.
Does that make you feel anything?
The color palettes are sick. I like the color palettes. It reminds me of Homer. It's like the classic, iconic, cultural, pop culture like color palette. And we're looking at the donut. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's fire.
Interesting. And, how much do you think that's worth any money to you?
Yeah, I mean, is it on chain? Is it an NFT
Right now,
or is
no,
it just
but
a
it could
JPEG?
be.
Is it just a JPEG?
It's just a JPEG right now. It's actually a model in Blender.
Oh, fire! Then yeah, of course. I think it could be worth something. I mean, it would be fire if like, yeah. I mean, like how I really look at this is the donut is the canvas, and basically someone's making an abstract painting on the donut. Like if you were to peel out the pink, put that on the canvas, and then sprinkle something on the canvas, that would look incredible. The color palette is insane. I think it's sick.
Interesting. Cool.
this is their only question, Jesse.
Yeah.
Where you going?
I
Go with
was
this.
just curious. I was just curious.
I feel like you're pulling on threads.
No.
Jesse's
No,
brain
my
is
girlfriend made it in
somewhere. He's
Blender.
not letting us know about it.
He's like, this donut just sold for 100,000 ETH. Right? I'm like,
What's your palm tree gonna do? No, that's what
just
that's what
curious.
Jesse.
I don't know. We'll find out. It's going to be on Foundation June 3rd. So we'll hopefully.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Why not OpenSea? Well, one, I know embarrassingly little about all the NFT markets that exists. I mean, just because crypto has boomed in so many branches since 2017, so it's hard to know it all. But why not OpenSea? Why not? Is it Rarible, Mintable? Like, there's a few others. Why Foundation?
I like the design. I like the experience. I like to collect NFTs and not just make them. So I kind of just like I like the design. I like the layout. It seems like user friendly. So and I'm excited to be like, you know, I think we're going to be the first augmented reality offering that they ever have. So, you know,
Okay.
that's really cool.
Yeah,
Very
and
good.
actually to that point, right? To the previous point, we're actually doing you know, the URL to IRL, right? We're actually doing an actual event for this, right? So June 3rd, we'll be in Miami at Custom House from 6 to 11 p.m. So if you guys are down there, please come by. We're going to be, we're still talking about the dynamics of this, where, you know, we might do an IRL part like of the auction itself, but like you said, it's going to be taking place on Foundation that night. And yeah, we're really excited to have people out there. Miami is going to be a smash, especially for Crypto Week, and we'll have the palm trees there, so you'll be able to go and be the first people to go and take pictures in front of them. And so extend you guys an invite, and you know, we'll follow up some more formal stuff here around that. But we're incredibly excited for this event. We're incredibly excited to introduce Will to the rest of the community. You know, and just like get people's reactions on these palm trees. We're hyped.
I actually have a question for you, Aram, and then we'll kind of wrap with like our trademark questions. Like, you've been an entrepreneur since you were like 16 years old, and it's been some years since you were on the show last, and those are crypto years. So in crypto years, you have like 80,000 years of experience as an entrepreneur. Like, just give some advice to our listeners that are either been in crypto for a really long time and they're like, you know what, I finally want to build something in crypto, or somebody who just got in yesterday. They aped into 3 billion Shiba tokens. They're telling all their friends about it. They're going to find out really soon that those 8 billion tokens are probably going to be worth, I don't know, 3 planets, the way crypto's going right now. So no, you know, like, how do you give some advice to the newbies and the oldies about how to build in this space?
Great question. I think the first thing is like, think about the user who's going to use this, right? And usability comes in multiple forms in crypto. It's not like people will overgo a good user experience in exchange for financial gain. So you've seen with like, all these like old exchanges to get a Shiba or a Kita or whatever, poop token is available this week, right? And so being sure it's user focused is important. Making sure that let me think about this, because I've been writing a lot of notes on like information I'd pass on that's not only just wise for like crypto, but like all of just being a founder. I think a question that I ask myself is, can I afford it? Right. And it comes in the form of 5 questions. Can I afford starting, a crypto company? I think like first, technically, or do you have the skill sets to do it? Right. Or do you need to go and like hire somebody? Right. Because it all accrues like a cost. Okay. So like if you can't do something technically, or you're not like doing on the consulting side, if you can't afford it, find somebody who can help you go and deal that, right? Be able to go find a co-founder. Can I afford it socially, right? Who do you know inside of the network? Or do you have like some unique advantage? Are you PewDiePie, right? Or are you like Gary Vaynerchuk, who's able to go and spread stuff out really quickly and get something up to scale very fast? If not, work on developing your network. Can you afford something mentally, right? Is something that a lot of people really don't talk around, but I think is incredibly important. Founding a company is incredibly stressful. Crypto makes it 10 times harder because these markets are 24/7 and these things are always ripping, right? One moment you're probably a billionaire, the next moment your tokens are insolvent or the SEC is knocking down your door, right? And so can you afford something like mentally? These things are incredibly stressful. What else? Can I afford something? I said technically, financially, right? That's another thing. The barrier entry of cost to building a business is incredibly like a lot lower now. And that's that's great. I could probably stand up a e-commerce company right now with like $100, maybe less. Like, and I've done that to like pretty good success as well. But if it's something like very, taxing, right? Do you have the people to go and back you, right? If not, what is the MVP and how do you get it out the door? And then I think it's, can you build, like, can you afford it, like, mentally? Are you smart enough to do what you're trying to build, right? You can bite up more than you can chew. Like, and I've done it, right, in multiple ways. I've got, like, when I was working at Illuminate Coinscore, right, when we started that, we got 2 acquisition offers, right? I was like 18, 19 years old. People were offering me like tens of millions of dollars. And I'm going, like, talking to hedge fund managers, like big funds, like, yeah, we're trying to raise at a $60 million valuation pre-product, right? Being smart is incredibly important, just like knowing the tricks of the trade. That's just something that I've learned. And these are like hard won pieces of advice that, not only work in crypto, but across the entire spectrum of entrepreneurship. And then I think the last thing, price is important, but it's not the determining factor, right? When it comes to building something, right? People who are building the bear markets, I think Zora was building in like 2018, right? NFTs are like, yeah, nobody really cares about them, right? And just keep building and having that conviction is key, because then, hey, you're gonna raise like an $18 million round. So keeping the faith around what you believe in, and having diamond hands in all things is, what I would say. So hodl in all senses of the word. Hodl your ideas, your vision, your crypto, right? Your community, right? And so that's my advice for being a founder.
Okay. I hope that everyone listening / watching were taking notes, because we're gonna turn this episode into an NFT, and you're getting on play. We say shit like that. That's all. We're never gonna do it. But okay. So some trademark questions. Jesse, you want to hit them with yours?
Sure. Will.
Yeah.
So this is my trademark question. Is what you do actually hard?
Is what I do actually hard?
Mhm.
Yeah. Because I can't force it. It's not like I can go into the gym and get a workout. It's mentally. It has to hit me more than I can force it. I can't force an idea. Inspiration just strikes. So I consider that hard to deal with and hard to manage and hard to find inspiration. It's hard to find inspiration in things. So with that, yeah.
I like it. Cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask the other one, but I'm gonna give it to both of you. Will, you first?
Okay.
Which one do I want to use? Okay. In 10 words or less, can you describe blockchain?
The future.
Aram?
10 words or less. I got to count. Because
Yeah.
I could do it. Let me think.
Well, nailed it. So
Because I'm about to give like a technical answer, right? And do I have to explain to like a fifth grader, or is it just to y'all?
to you.
Oh, it's
Let
a
it flow through
distributed,
you.
a distributed record of account, and whatever account. Period. Distributed record of account. Period.
All right.
So that's 3.
Well done. Well
Okay.
done, gentlemen.
All right.
I'd say over the years of asking that question, people have gotten significantly better.
Yeah,
of
man.
Whittling it down to something core and to like their own belief, as opposed to like, or the early years, it was like people just thought I said no. I'd be like, can you describe it in 10 words or less? They're like, no.
Yeah, no, for sure. It makes sense. It's crazy to see that evolve over time, for sure.
Corey, can we mint your dogs as NFTs?
Yeah.
They're just as cute as Shiba. What the fuck, bro?
I was like, is that a Shiba Inu in the back?
Nah, she's a Kelpie.
Is there a token for that yet?
She,
Is there a token for that?
Kelpie,
Make
bro.
one.
Make a Kelpie coin. We'll shoot it up to an $8 billion cap.
Let's
Immediately.
do it, bro.
BC, people
Let's
will
send
buy
it.
Let's see. I would say we could make an NFT out of my dog, but my dog is ugly as fuck. So, his eyes go like opposite directions, and he never
Your
knows
dog
who he's
actually
looking at.
may be more mintable than Corey's dog.
It probably is.
For real, people want that.
Yeah.
Yours is
What
good.
does Elon say? Irony loves fate. There you go. That's the one.
And he's also strangely obsessed with turning my Xbox off and on. Like, it's really strange. Like, he turns it on, he stares at it, and he turns it off, and he walks away. And I'm like, you are strange.
What do
I
you
thought
do?
you
You
were
play
talking
on
about Elon. I was
Xbox?
like, what is Elon doing with your Xbox?
I don't play Xbox. I was gifted an Xbox, and I was like, but I play PlayStation. They were like, yeah, but I have an extra Xbox, and I was like,
Well, hold on.
sell
What
it?
type X? Is it like the Series X or what?
No. It's the Xbox One S X
360?
series, whatever. The
One S.
One S, one.
Something like that. The last generation.
I think they're
Say,
just making shit up. What are we gonna call it this time? I don't know. Xbox League
Perfect.
17. Xbox
third
League
one.
17. All right, so yeah, that's it. We don't have any more questions, do we?
Mm-mm.
Wrap it up. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on the show.
right.
And
Yeah,
I look
appreciate
forward
you
to
guys.
seeing these palm trees.
Thank you.
We're
Thanks
excited,
for having
guys.
us. Appreciate
You
it.
so much
almost
for
said pine tree. You
I almost said pine tree.
motherfucker.
Jeez, fine, tree.
I was gonna say pineapple because it's also a tropical plant. And for some reason, my brain went there, but then I'm looking at the palm trees on this screen, and I said palm tree. So
I don't even think pineapples grow on trees. I think they grow on like the ground.
they probably
They do
do.
not
but it's
They do.
tropical, so
Trees.
it's
They grow on the ground.
All right, that's your educational lesson for the day.
Get your vegetation right.